This is Angry Old White People, and I'm Dr. Joe. This was instigated by Dr. Derry Sargo at USC at Dornsife campus, Los Angeles. That's where Angry Old White People was instigated. Hello and thank you for watching. Mr. and Mrs. America, all ships at sea, planes in the air, vehicles on the ground, greetings. Today's topic is going to be how our president controls us as U.S. citizens. What you need to know is this: once we have a president, we're going to elect one. Every president has a plan or an ideology to run our country, to control it. That doesn't sound too bad, but basically we have to know and understand that there are 15 federal departments under the president's, pretty much his control. What he does is he appoints 15 secretaries, one over each of the 15 departments, like Department of Education, Department of Health, Justice Department, Department of Energy. You understand that each of the people that he nominates to be his department head or secretary has his same ideology or plan for the country. Now, why is that important? You'll ask me, Dr. Joe, why? Who cares? We know that. Listen carefully, because here is how a president controls us, you and me. The way it happens is once a secretary is appointed, the Senate votes them in. Now, what these appointments do is you have a secretary that issues regulations, like under the Department of Agriculture. That secretary would be over, let's say, plant and animal health inspection. What are the rules? Well, they're called regulations. This is what I'm talking about. That is a private law, not voted on by you or me, under the president who appointed this secretary. Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, mortgages, little laws and called regulations or rules that they issue. Maybe the Department of Defense. We know about the military. Department of Energy. We have the Energy Regulatory Commission. Those agencies are run by private little laws, and they're not little. They control us. Department of Health and Human Services, Center for Disease Control, and how we can operate and how we have to protect one another by their regulations. Homeland Security, you go to the airport and what do you have? Inspections as you get aboard an aircraft. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but listen to this. Those are rules issued by the Secretary of Homeland Security. Department of Labor operates the same way. Now, why am I talking about that? Well, what I want you to know is this, and what we have to see is this when we go and vote. If we understand that the president has an ideology, what is that ideology or plan? The people who set up this country, your and my ancestors, knew at the time that they set it up there were slaves on this land for more than 200 years before we had 13 itty-bitty, teeny-weeny little states. That's right, they knew the slavery was here. They came from, the people that came here were from England and from France and from other countries as they came together as colonies. We know that, right? Now, understanding how they set it up, they said, we're going to limit government. Government cannot be the all-powerful dictator or king and queen with their thugs. I mean, the military. So it was set up with the ideology that the government would be lashed down, pushed out of the way. You and I can go to work and we can earn money and keep most of it. If you want to be a musician, if you want to be a song artist, you want to be an artist in painting, you want to be a business person. When you generate all that business, you keep the profits. That's the idea. Well, a new president comes in recently and the ideology is going to change. A new plan. What plan is that? That plan is to have all of the secretaries and the president with their new plan so that if you go become a hit song artist, your proceeds will be paid to the government. We call it taxation. It's confiscation of what you've done, and we'll reissue that money to others in our country. You see, that's destructive, but you have to understand the secretaries of each one of these departments are going to issue their little laws to follow that. How do we collect the people's money and keep them from having, oh, let's say a 32-ounce soda, or maybe salt on the table, or maybe you have to buy a car that just runs on batteries. That's right. The ideology of this president and the secretaries are going to lock us in. We're going to become real slaves. If you don't understand that, the way this country was set up, some people call it conservatives. I call it keeping your reward for your effort. This new plan to restructure it, to fundamentally change it, is going to have all of our government run us. We are becoming real slaves. You have to understand that, because even the president can have czars who are not elected, but they run around and they make sure that all these little private laws called regulations strangle us. You see, government has no money. No government has any money until it collects it from us. Think about that. Would you like a road to drive on, would you? Well, guess what? Government doesn't have any money and can't put in a road until it gets it from you and me. You want a new school? Pay up. You want aid to dependent children check delivered to your mailbox, ladies? Government doesn't have any money. Somebody has to pay up and deliver a check to you through the government. And government doesn't produce anything. Government doesn't produce a TV set. Government doesn't produce food. And you have to eat 3 times a day, by the way. So we have to understand when this ideology of our president and our secretaries come in and these private little laws come to chain us, we want to be sure that those entities and things that create money, because government doesn't have any money, government doesn't produce food to eat, keep that in mind. That's the way it is. Business does that. That's right, you and me. We might be a singing artist. We might be, as I say, an artist with canvas and paintings. We might be, who knows, we could be a golfer. But the proceeds that we earn has to be taxed away and given to the government, and then it's handed out to others who are just going to be lazy through the regulations, these private laws. And our senators that we elect are going to put in those secretaries with that president. What made America rich? Richest nation on the face of the earth. Don't tell me freedom. Because I talked to a Muslim who's free under Sharia law. You know, where women don't have an education, where women can't go outside, they're free under that, so it isn't freedom. Tell me, why is America the richest nation ever founded, ever known? That's right. That's right. We do it. You and I do it without the government. It's something we have to remember and understand. And I want you to take this video and I want you to put it on pause, go back over it again and think about it. At the next election, if you would like to continue the wealth of this nation, you better think about the ideology of the president coming in and all those secretaries that president's going to put in place to create what? Private laws, private regulations we don't vote on. And the Supreme Court's the same way. When they interpret those regulations and laws, the president with this ideology that president has, whatever it is, will be when they appoint Supreme Court justices to look over the laws. So be careful, friends. Remember, we want this nation to be free. We're becoming slaves to the government. Government doesn't have any money. Think about it. So remember that we're all one. We're united. We're white, black, red, yellow, and brown. We are Americans. Number 2, recognize and beware of the dark and horrific, wild, and terrible side of government, who can strangle us. And government is not your paycheck. Private business is. Remember, we were all created. There is no evolution. Don't believe that lie. And there is no one group, white or any other color, that dominates and controls everything. Another lie. Please, please, please go for timeforfreedom.net. Let me say that again, timeforfreedom.net. I have written a book called They Hate Us and He Hates Us Too. Go there, buy the book, please read it. It's a plan. It describes what I'm talking about. When you go there, buy the ebook or buy the printed copy, and please send a donation to us at Federal Children's Congress, Inc. Federal Children Congress, Inc. It's a tax-exempt organization. Go to soundthealarm1.com. That's soundthealarm1.com, and make a donation to help us get the word out to you, your children, and your grandchildren. You can email your comments to me at drjoe@time4freedom.net. That's drjoe@timeforfreedom.net. I'd like to hear your comments. Thanks for watching, and please tell others to view this message. Put it on your Facebook, tweet it out, email it to your friends, your family, to your church members, to whomever. Tell them about America, please. Till later, I am Dr. Joe. May God bless you. Thank you.